Hey guys, welcome to Fantasy Tip. Max here with you for another weekend ad video. This time week 4, aka the first weekend of November. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. On Friday we have 2 games, on Saturday we have 15 games, and on Sunday we have another 2 games. We'll start with Friday and Saturday. We have the Buffalo Sabres, the Philadelphia Flyers, and the St. Louis Blues. First up, Owen Tippett, 6 points in his last 6 games, 26 shots during that time frame, and he also finally started throwing his body around. I'm going to put the entirety of the Flyers' first line here in a row. Sean Couturier, it's nice to see him back healthy and on the scoreboard right away. Just like his line mate, he's at a point per game pace in the last 7 games and puts the puck on net. Cam Atkinson is another one. Good to see him healthy, scoring some goals. I prefer the other two because Tippett has the hit factor and Couturier was one of the best penalty killers in the NHL, and he can put some shorties home. Brayden Schenn at number 4. It's been a disappointing season so far for the Blues. Schenn's peripherals are interesting. I could confidently stream Schenn this weekend. Bubble's going to pop sooner or later, and he's going to have to produce. We also have Pavel Buchnevich at number 5, 2 points and 10 shots in the last 3 games since he's returned from injuries. We also have Robert Thomas, doesn't hit, doesn't score much goals, but is a great playmaker and a power play threat. He also plays above 20 minutes per night. At number 7, Bobby Brink. I personally streamed him for the week and had a negative result on Monday. I am not losing faith. He's having a breakout season so far. He's on the third line right now with Cates and Farabee, but he plays PP1 with the top point producers in Philadelphia. We also have the best fourth line center in the NHL, Scott Laughton. This guy brings you a variety of statistics, shots, hits, blocks, a point every 2 games. He also plays shorthanded. I think you guys know I love Laughton. At number 9, we have Casey Middlestad. Low peripherals, boomer bust. He's got 5 points in the last 5 games, but 2 of those games were multi-point performances. We also have shooting winger Joel Farabee playing third line with 4 goals to his name so far. At the moment, we're talking Kasperi Kapanen will get a shot at the St. Louis Blues first line. Last year, Kapanen helped me out as a streamer and helped me win some weeks at the most unusual of times. He is another boomer bust candidate, however. And 2 youngsters from Buffalo, Pederka and Benson, they are years away from being fantasy relevant, but if no other options right now, they have offensive talent. And keep a close eye on if Jakub Vrana plays this weekend. He's been a healthy scratch. With Sammy Blais, you get a nice floor, safer floor with hits and the intensity that he plays with. With Vrana, the ceiling is super high, but will he be put in a situation where he can succeed? Only time will tell. For the Friday and Sunday segment, we only have one team, the New Jersey Devils. Not a lot of options here, so Luke Hughes is obviously the clear-cut number 1. I know he's 79% rostered, but surprisingly, somebody dropped him last week in my 10-man league before he erupted. Haula is the best of the rest, 5 goals already, including 3 in the last 2 games. We also have Ondrej Palat, who is such a better player in real life than in fantasy. No goals so far, however, he plays with Jesper Bratt, which puts him in a position to succeed game in, game out. Alex Holtz, the rookie, is getting used to the NHL. He doesn't offer enormously, but he has 2 goals in the last 4 games, and he is very talented offensively. At number 5, Dawson Mercer, so disappointing so far, still pointless, and only has 6 shots, downgrading in the lineups after getting 56 points and 161 shots last season. The options are low, so maybe he gets going this weekend, but I think you can find better elsewhere. We also have John Marino. I was pleasantly surprised to see that he has 4 points in the last 5 games. He doesn't get power play time since he's behind Luke Hughes and Dougie Hamilton, but he also did not have a game where he didn't record a block. So you can choose to ride the hot hand if you want. And finally, Michael McLeod centering the second line right now while Nico Hischier is day-to-day. He'll probably be back to centering the fourth line by this weekend. He'll win you some face-offs, he'll throw his body around to get you some hits, but don't expect much more. For Saturday and Sunday, we only have 2 teams, the Chicago Blackhawks and the Vegas Golden Knights. At number 1, under 50% rostered player William Karlsson, who's riding a 7-game point streak. He never played under 15 minutes or above 16 minutes 18 seconds before last Saturday, but since then, he's played on average 20 minutes per game. More ice time, well deserved. Ride the hot hand with Karlsson. At number 2, we have Ivan Barbashev, who hasn't been really good lately, but he still plays with world-class player Jack Eichel. Vegas are almost unbeatable at the moment, and no matter how his early misfortunes look, I'll still ride with Barbashev this weekend. We also have Chandler Stevenson, who's a very streaky player. When he's hot, this guy can win you weeks. He's the PP1 center on Vegas and plays with Mark Stone on the second line, a very good option. At number 4, Corey Perry. He just keeps going at his age. He's got his regular third line spot with PP1 usage for net front presence. That PP1, of course, is with Connor Bedard. Speaking of Bedard, his line mate Philip Kurashev finally got his season started last week. He's got a goal in 3 games, and he might be the cheapest power play option in fantasy right now, centering the Blackhawks PP1. Last year, we asked, who the hell is Paul Cotter hitting and injuring our fantasy players? This year, it's more like, who the hell is this guy going coast to coast like Bobby Orr? I've rarely seen a player turn so good in such a small amount of time. He's up to 6 points on the season and 3 goals in the last 5 games, and he is playing alongside Stevenson and Mark Stone, not looking out of place at all. And finally, Nick Foligno completes the Hawks' first line with Bedard and Kurashev. He's also the complementary piece on the Blackhawks PP1. Now on to defensemen. At number 1, we have the clear-cut PP1 defenseman in Philadelphia, Travis Sanheim, already up to 8 points on the season and above a block per game. Scoop him and keep him if he's still free in your league. Right under him, we have Owen Power. Although inconsistent in his peripherals, Power can get 3 games in a row above 2 blocks a game, but he can also go 3 games in a row without a hit or a block. At the moment, he has 3 assists in the last 4 games and is doing pretty well. We also have Brayden McNabb, who's not your typical favorite fantasy streamer, but he does plenty of things well. The guy is 4th in the league in blocked shots, and he already has 5 points and +9 on the season. He also throws his body around much more normally, so there's a nice safe floor with Brayden McNabb. Speaking of blocks, Alec Martinez leading the league right now, so if your league values blocks, go ahead and stream Martinez. There's more of a boomer bust with Kevin Korchinski compared to the other guys. He's on the PP2 in Chicago right now, and he has 3 assists in his last 6 games. At number 6, Torrey Krug, who's still pointless. I personally dropped Torrey Krug this week. Very disappointing start to the season, like most of his teammates. But on a weekend with not a lot of options, Krug is appealing as a PP1 defenseman on the wire. He needs to snap out of his nightmare starts eventually. And finally, John Marino, who I spoke a little bit about earlier, 4 points in the last 5 games. Feel free to ride the hot hand. Other options included Matthias Samuelsson, Colton Parayko, and Connor Murphy, who gives a lot of blocks and a lot of variety. They are also decent options. And now for the goalies, we'll have to wait and see who starts on Sunday for the Devils. But if Akira Schmidt is good to go on Sunday, he is the number 1 option this weekend. At number 2, with John Gibson missing time and going down, Luka Dostal is the number 1 in Anaheim. And good start for the Ducks this season. I'm not 100% sold, but Dostal is riding a 3-game win streak at the moment. And finally, the Chicago Blackhawks tandem, Mrazek and Soderblom. If you go down that path, you're probably down bad, and I wish you luck. You'll need a lot of it against New Jersey on Sunday. Now, as for the categories, we'll start with the shots. Owen Tippett, Big Dog, 3.67. Scott Laughton has 3. Eric Holla at 2.71. Cam Atkinson at 2.7. Travis Sanheim and Donato at 2.44. Robert Thomas at 2.3. Sean Couturier and Pederka at 2.22. For the hits, we have Big Paul Cotter at 3.7. Sammy Blais at 3.6. Cole Lazar at 3.3. Braden Shen at 3.1. Nick Delorier at 2.9. Mackenzie Entwistle at 2.75. Connor Murphy at 2.67. Curtis Lazar at 2.4. And Garnet Hathaway at 2.3. For the blocked shots, Alec Martinez, 4 a game. Braden McNabb, his teammate, 3. Connor Murphy, 2.44. Nick Seeler and Torrey Krug, 2. Siegenthaler at 1.88. Eric Zamula at 1.86. Nick Leddy at 1.57. And Sanheim at 1.56. For the face-offs, we have Robert Thomas at number 1, 10.57. Sean Couturier, 10.44. Chandler Stevenson at 9. Michael McLeod, 7.25. Carlson at 7.1. Kevin Hayes, 7. Eric Holla, 6.86. Noah Cates at 6. And my boy Scott Laughton at 5.78. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, click the like button, subscribe to our channel. It's always much appreciated. I hope these advice get to you and help you out for this weekend. See you guys soon.